Hello, welcome. I'm glad you're here. I am back in my studio. I don't think I've done a Facebook Live in here for about a year and a half. So I'm super glad to be back. The sewing room is nowhere near where it needs to be, but I was able to get in front of my design wall, and I'm enjoying reorganizing things between my stitching. Can anyone actually say their sewing room is exactly the way they want it all times and no work needs to be done? Because I'm not sure if that exists. I mean, it might. I just don't know about it. I mean, does anyone have a perfectly organized sewing room? Hello, Janet. How are you? Happy summer in the Carolinas. So I'm glad the messages are working. Carol, hi. I'm glad you're here from New Jersey, I think. New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York, Connecticut. I think it's Jersey. Let's see, Janet, my studio is a mess and I like it that way. My studio is beyond a mess and I don't like it this way. And everything I try to do to help seems to make it worse. Like I do one thing, but then this happens and I just keep making more messes. So it'll never be perfect, but I want it to be a little more usable than it is now. And let's see, Sandal, no organized sewing room here, even in your tiny space? Because you have a big space and a tiny space. Do you have an organized sewing room in your tiny space? I would think you probably do. Let's see. We've got Krista. Hello in Minnesota. Glad you're here. Let's see what else is new. What else I have going on here. Up near Binghamton and Syracuse, God's country. I've been there. I've taught there. I've driven through there a lot because my daughter went to the University of Buffalo, and we had to go through Syracuse to get to Buffalo. And it snowed every single time we drove through. And when I taught there one July, I was like, I'm not convinced it doesn't snow here every day. And they said, well, it is possible. But it was a beautiful day when I was there. So I have much love for Syracuse. And Sandal, you're more organized in the tiny space, one thing at a time. I know whenever I travel and take my sewing room with me into my hotel room, I'm pretty organized because there's only like 12 things with me. One project, one cutting board. I'm pretty compact that way. Let's see. You're halfway between Syracuse and Binghamton, and you met me at Calico Gals. I'm coming back again. So you're going to get a newsletter starting after 3 o'clock. It's going to start being sent at 3. I can't control how long it takes to send them all out. That's part of the software that I use, but it'll have my schedule in there. And I will be at Calico Gals again, maybe September, sometime. Let's see here. Hello, Miss Terry Lucas. Everybody should go check out Terry Lucas at terrificcreations.com. Terry, put your link in the chat if you'd like. She's got some great work on color work and some wonderful quilting. Let's see, what do I have here? Gina, hello. Can't wait. So that I'm guessing that's upstate. Yes. So yeah, I will be at Syracuse. I always look forward to it. I love the Calico Gals. It's just like coming home when I see them. So I have a list. I always have a list. So my list, I'm going to start off with a sale for you because as I'm cleaning, I'm finding stuff that I don't want to have in my studio anymore. So I've been in a couple quilt shops recently, and I've noticed that charm packs, did you know that everything's gotten more expensive lately? Shocks me. I'm still that remember when fabric went up to $8 a yard, and now it's twice that. I'm that old. I'm remembers when fabric went up to $8 a yard year old. But I was seeing pre-cuts, and pre-cuts were for $13 to $17. So I have pre-cuts here. So I have some pre-cuts. I have more than 2 of Fandangle. And if you look at the very top line in chat, you will see the link for these. These are $5. So going on, you get first crack at them, and they will be on sale through Friday. I will turn off the sale on Saturday. And I hope to keep doing that as I find new things that need to be sold. So I will pay you, as in give very big discounts, to help me clean out my sewing area. So I'm very happy with that. Gina, Your sewing room is not as organized as your work in progress. I'm a UFO, yeah, or whatever else you could call that. What is it? Waste of. So, what are some of the quilt acronyms? UFO, WIP, work in progress, unfinished object, project in nice tote, pint, pigs or projects in grocery sacks. I always like wombat, waste of money, batting, and time. Um, I'm a W wit. What was I thinking? Most of my life, that's me. So yeah, it's the eternal struggle. Like I said, as I'm trying to finish things, I get something else out and something else falls over. So eventually, I think I'm just going to wake up and it's going to be show an improvement, but we're not there yet. We are not there yet. I don't necessarily fall every time I walk into my sewing room. It's been neglected for a year and a half. So what do I have new to show you this week? Well, look behind me. That is the new pattern, Ice Cream. And that is the color block for June. The pattern is written. It is up in the class. And here's a secret. It's been up for a week already. So if you go into the class and notice something future in there, you just got it early because I just post it when it's done and I don't have to do it all on Tuesdays. Let's see. Terry, yes, you're what was I thinking with the fabric? And Krista, you're like, what was I thinking? Right. I am killing projects and deciding they don't need to be projects, they need to be scraps. I found a bunch of things cut up in weird block sizes to make into another quilt that I didn't want to make into a quilt. So they now got cut into 2.5 squares and 1.5 inch strips. So I just killed about 4 quilts on Sunday. So this Ice Cream quilt behind me, again, is in the Cutie. Am I saying Cutie? I'm meaning color blocks. If I'm saying Cutie, I designed for 2 pattern lines. I'm so sorry. It's in the color blocks class. So there's the ice cream cone. I chose chocolate, strawberry, and vanilla. You can choose mint chocolate chip, which would be green, orange sherbet. You can have hot purple ice cream if you like. I'm not sure I'd eat it because all those food dyes, they don't do well with my body. But make your ice cream any color you want. It's a pretty small quilt. 3 color blocks is all you need. But I told you they would be small quilts this year for seasonal quilts that we can just swap out. So I'll hang this in my kitchen or on the back of my front door or something like that. Love for the ice cream cone. Thank you. I have had it on the board waiting to quilt it because I wanted to show it to you naked first. But I'm going to quilt it and I have some really fun ideas for it. And it'll probably end up with a big red button right here, which is a cherry on top. So hopefully I have a red button in my stash. I would be shocked if I didn't. Or as a table runner, yeah. I actually pulled out one of my color block small quilts last year. In between illnesses, I posted balloons because I got out of the hospital and I was doing okay for a minute and a half. So I pulled out the balloon quilt because my husband's birthday was this weekend. So I did pull that out for the day just to celebrate. I do. That's how I decorate, is with quilts. You think it might be doable for a favorite ice cream shop on PEI. One of these days I've got to get there. We're planning trips again. So maybe. Yeah. I'm having a little ice cream problem right now because I live near Stewart's Ice Cream. That's in my part. It's in New York. And it's fantastic. And they put 3 flavors on sale every week. And I look every Monday to see what flavors are on sale. Can I afford full price ice cream? Why, yes, I can. Am I going to buy it for full price? Why? No, I'm not. Unless it's an infusion week. But full price ice cream, I have about 5 or 6 flavors that I buy from them, and the others are just kind of meh, like chocolate chip, whatever. But this week they have chocolate caramel tornado on sale, which is chocolate ice cream, caramel swirls, and has little bits of honeycomb in it. And it's killing me. It's killing me to not go buy it because I shouldn't eat it. Maybe for the weekend. Let's see. Oh, so we already had that comment. Sorry, I didn't want to repeat that one. So I have a lot of ice cream. When I was at my sister's house, babysitting her dog, whose birthday is today, happy birthday, Oreo, and taking care of Mom, my sister got a buy a bag of books at a used book sale at the library, and had a book on the table she thought was for somebody, but they didn't want it. And it was a cookbook that I've been looking for. So it was vegan ice cream. Uh, and I might be making vegan ice cream before next week. It might be cow based too, because I'm not vegan. I might just use the recipe. Terry, how about some Talenti? Unless it goes on sale for $1.99, probably not. Because Talenti is these little jars. I loved them, but I'm kind of having the inflation problems that my brain is going, no, this shouldn't cost this much. Now, I'm grateful I could afford it. I could afford the increased food on groceries. I feel bad for young families, but I look at this stuff like I'm 95 years old and go, I remember when gas was 79 cents a gallon or whatever. Because I do remember when gas went to a third digit, when it went over 99 cents. Let's see. Krista, you get ice cream if it's on sale. Rocky Road, chocolate marshmallow. Janet, Mrs. Stewart's. Now the other flavors I get are Stargazer, which is like a Milky Way, chocolate Milky Way ice cream. Campfire Samorios my husband bought last week because they had 2 ones that I like on sale last week. It was really painful. Chocolate Campfire Samorios. Mwah. Chef's kiss. It was delicious. What else? I get brownie cookie sundae. Amazing. The brownies in it are exactly what I want them to be. Yeah, ice cream. Not having any, but we can think. I can sew ice cream instead. So let's see. Terry also remembers when gas went to the third digit. And I'm pretty sure anyone who's following me, 95% of you also remember when you could only buy it on odd days, even or odd days, depending on your license plate. Good time. Kids today don't know what that joy. So that's ice cream. Stop, you like those flavors too. The flavors I like to see go on sale are mint chocolate chip. I hate mint chocolate chip. Anything with peanut butter in it, anything with coffee in it, and anything with nuts in it. Those are 4 ice creams I will not buy. And that's a lot of the sales. There are sometimes I look on there and I'm like, they don't want me to buy ice cream because it's mint chocolate chip, Rocky Road, and like coffee or something. I'm like, well, that was an easy choice. The other problem with it is this is near my church, and I'm there. This week will be 4 days this week for, a nighttime event, and I work there on Wednesdays and Sundays, and so I'm there several times. That's how often my car is near the ice cream. And I figured out how to avoid buying the ice cream. Ride my bike to church, because then the ice cream would melt before I got home. It takes 45 minutes to get home. So anyway, that's what we have. Ice cream is up for color blocks, and I will take it down tonight and start quilting it. Next week's quilt is not done. My next week's content, but I'll have something different on the board next week. Another quilt on my board are those little blocks. And what those blocks come from this bag. And this is a big bag. I mean, it's next to my head, okay? This is how big it is. In this bag are the triangles from every binding I've ever trimmed. So when I cut my binding, I cut them diagonally so that I can piece them together, and then I just throw them in here. Well, this is a lot of quilts, and I haven't been doing this forever. I've maybe only been doing this for 8 years, maybe, but I pulled out all the creams, which is the background, all the neutrals, and then I pulled out my darkest fabrics because they're pretty dark on the board. I have blacks, black prints, dark browns, brown prints, navy blue, dark green. So those are all it's all a tone that I'm looking for rather than a print. So the quilt it will not be a pattern. The quilt is named Bound to Happen. I have 2 settings made for it already based on how many blocks I get. One, if I could get 30, I could do one thing with it. I think I'm only going to get 12 because I don't think I have enough neutral backgrounds for it. And I have another setting for that, which I really like. And you'll get to see that in the future, long in the future. Because all I really needed to do was start another quilt. I'm finishing a couple, so of course I have to start more. Do you give yourself permission to start new quilts, or do you play games with yourself? Because I'm like, well, it's Sunday. I'm not going to work. I'm just going to sew for fun. And this is what happened. Or I'll finish 2 and then I'll start a new one. And the problem I have is a lot of the new ones I start are work related. So like this one, that's a new one. I have another quilt I'm finishing up on the machine right now. Hold on, I have to write something down that I forgot to tell you. Okay. So yeah, I finished those, but I think, I should start a new quilt every now and again because I like it. Who else is a beginning quilter that loves to begin quilts? That's me. So I told you about ice cream. I told you about the Bound to Happen. That's going to be my name for that quilt because it's from Bindings. The sale on the charms, on the Fandangle charms, which is at the top of this chat, is the link if you want to get in. The sale's going out in the newsletter. That will be shipping out starting at 3:00, but you get the link first. Let's see. Janet, you have 2 commissioned t-shirt quilts to finish before you can start anything. I'm like, oh, maybe finish one of them and then start something. 2 seems like a lot, and t-shirt quilts are definitely a lot. A friend of mine at church asked me if I made t-shirt quilts, and my mouth didn't answer her, but my face did. And I said, I would consider that an act of love. And while I do love you, she's like, I will ask other people first. I'm like, that's a good idea. I don't like making t-shirt quilts, just not my jam. But everyone loves them. And I still owe her wedding quilt, so maybe I'll get that done first. I might have been sick last year when she got married. Let's see what else we have. Sandal, you like to finish piecing 1 quilt at a time before starting another. The quilting and wait, that's so weird. I try it, but I don't. This is the only quilt I'm currently piecing, but now it's a UFO because I'm going to go back and piece another work quilt. And this is just going to be some in-between fun piecing. So I'm looking forward to that. Terry, you definitely start new ones before you finish the old ones because you don't bind the old ones. You and Scott. Scott Flanagan is also not a big binder. He quilt binder, and he wrote a book and had to bind all the quilts for his book. And I'm like, I can't believe you didn't farm that job out. So he is... I forget the name of his company. Scott Allen Flanagan is his name. It's some sort of a street designs, but Scott Allen Flanagan is his name. Let's see. T-shirt quilts are very time consuming the way they do them. They're very time consuming the way anyone does them, and I don't like them. Not a fan. Terry, you are in good company. 4th and Main. Thank you. I knew it was something street. So thank you for that. So 4th and Main Quilting, if you want to look up and see his book, he does some really neat designs, and he's a really great guy, and I adore him. So check him out. So since I've been finishing quilts on my bicycle, I took a big tote bag and filled it with 5 quilts. Okay, that's a lie. I filled it with 4 quilts because the 5th quilt didn't fit inside it, and that one had to go in my backpack. I have a big basket on the back of my bicycle, which is lovely, with a nice cord over top of it so it doesn't bounce out. And at church, I just started giving quilts away. One had a name on it. So the quilt that I put into As the Bobbin Turns last week, the one that was half of an old Marty Michelle UFO queen size quilt, that one I knew who I was making it for, as it tells me sometimes. Do you do that? Just start piecing and then suddenly the quilt tells you to whom it belongs. Well, I did that, and I handed her a quilt, and I got a nice note yesterday, a nice, email video card thing, and she said that the quilt was majestic. So if you are a member of As the Bobbin Turns, you can go see how I quilted it, because I quilted feathers in the diagonal strip of the log cabins piece that way. So you can check that out, but the recipient thinks it's majestic. I gave away 3 other quilts at church. I had a friend help me because I don't know everyone. There's a lot of people there. And I will be taking more. That's my first place I give away quilts. I just take a bag and see who gets them. Let's see. Sandal, you only do t-shirt quilts for family? Yeah. I don't even do them. If my grandkids want a t-shirt quilt, I probably wouldn't do it. I mean, I love my grandkids more than anything, but then there's that t-shirt level quilt of love. It's pretty rough. might not do it. I finished, so those were 5 quilts I took to church. I still have 1 that I'll take to church again, but I did finish another quilt that never even made it into the bag. It was kind of flowery, and if you're in my machine quilting Facebook group, you might have seen a picture of it there, and it was something that had some weird looking feathers in it. Well, that quilt is done, photographed, video edited, ready to go, and I sent a picture of it to my daughter because it's not a quilt my daughter would like. My daughter likes like this. I'm not making it for my daughter, but this is a my daughter quilt, black, brown, navy blue. That's my daughter. But the quilt is going to her house anyway because her wife said, "Oh, I love it. It matches the couch. I want it." So she's getting the quilt, which is fun. Let's see what else happened this week. I got out a new sewing machine. My machine has had 2 major repairs recently. Well, one was a year and a half ago, but then I got sick, so I didn't use it much. And then it stopped working, and I took it in for another repair. And I'm like, this is going to keep happening. I have a feeling, because I've worn the machine out. It owes me nothing. I'm not upset. The machine is over 10 years old. I've quilted literally hundreds of quilts, machine quilted, like heavy machine quilting. This machine is beat. So I bought a new machine from Handy Quilter. It is a Stitch 610, and it looks a lot like the 510, which is the industrial machine. And I love my industrial machine. I have the 510. That's what I piece on. So this is kind of like that industrial machine, but it now has the ability to do a zigzag stitch. Love it. I'm enjoying it very much. It is 1 inch smaller. My old machine was an 11-inch throat space, and this is a 10-inch throat space, but that won't bother me. And I have a quilt designed and ready to improve the quilting a large quilt on a small machine class. So maybe by the end of summer, that'll be out. So I'll show you how to make it not bother you either. So yeah, that's what's been new here this week. I've been listening to books. I've been riding my bicycle. I'm really glad that this video has me sitting down because I rode 27 miles yesterday, and I look rather uncomfortable when I stand up because I'm using muscles, and I haven't used muscles in a long time. I've been laying on the couch for most of a year and a half. So it's really fun. And then I wake up the next day and my knees and my bum and even my shoulders and abdomen. So kind of a workout, I guess. What's really fun, I went to the doctor yesterday morning, my back doctor, just to check up on the back procedures and to see how well it's going. And it's going. And he was like, "Let me see your back." I'm like, "Oh, dude, I thought this was a talking appointment. I rode my bike here." So I'm all sweaty. And my medical practice is on a very main road, but I only cross the main road. I don't ride on the main road. I just cross it very carefully with traffic. And there's also a walk light there, so I could walk the bike across if I had to. But it's so funny to see people's reaction to me on a bicycle. The guys want to know how far I can go on a battery charge. 27 miles I did yesterday. I could maybe squeak out 30, but that's about it. With my weight on it, because I'm sure the size of the person changes how much energy it takes, and also with the hills I ride on because I'm in mountains. But yeah, 25, 30 miles would be the max. And the ladies are all like, "Aren't you nervous riding in traffic?" I don't ride in traffic. I ride across traffic with a light. I ride on back roads as much as possible. So not riding today. Today I'm hobbling. Tomorrow I'll ride. So for the rest of the day, I get to quilt. I will finish machine quilting what's on the machine over there. That'll be out later this month. And then I'll start working on this one, which will be for next week. Hopefully I'll have it machine quilted and ready to show you next week. So that's pretty much what I have to tell you. But it's great visiting with you. I hope that you find something that makes you as happy as quilting makes me and as happy as bicycling makes me. I used to run, and I would get that. I loved the challenge of running. And then my knees decided, no more running. And then I used to split wood, and then my back decided, no more wood splitting. So now I can ride my bike. And those are all very personal challenge and very fulfilling and get me outside and moving. So I don't like exercise, but these are things I do for a personal challenge that isn't because it's good for you, like eating broccoli. But I hope you find some fun things to do to move and some fun things to sew. And I will do my best to keep giving you more fun things to sew. Happy quilting, everyone. I will be back again next Tuesday. I will be here at 2:30 New York time. Yes, and that's already yeah, I already figured that out. I looked for the newsletter. So I'll be back here next Tuesday at 2:30. Until then, I hope you have a wonderful time doing what brings you great joy. Happy quilting. Take care.